Hey friends, today is the day I'm going to take these peas down. There are still some peas up here, but they have served their purpose, so they got to go. First, I'm going to harvest all the peas that are left. This is what the peas look like now. So you can see they're dead all the way up until their very tops. And look, they're still making flowers. But right now, this is no longer an effective use of the space. This is 6 foot by 2 foot, 12 square feet of just a couple peas. I'm just getting enough for snacks. I need to get these out of here and go ahead and let the tomatoes come up and maybe add some climbing beans to go with them. Now, with beans and peas, any legume, I want to leave their roots in the soil. So I don't want to pull this root out because they actually feed nitrogen back into the soil. So what I'm just going to do is come along and I'm just going to snip them at the base, and I'm going to leave this in here, and then I'm just going to pull these vines out. So this is going to take me a bit. Hang on. Now all this is great for my compost. It's all going to go right in the compost pile in the backyard. Ta-da! Now I have a nice new trellis. Well, I have a nice gently used trellis that will work just fine. And I can start moving the tomato there and the tomato here up and tying those off. This guy's not going to make it. I'm just going to yank it out so it quits waste on energy. And these kohlrabi are probably not going to make it either, but I'm going to leave them as food for pill bugs. And I'll occasionally feed some of these to the chickens. But we got to get this guy up. He's humongous and pruned nice and good. Get that guy up, and then we'll plant some kind of runner bean or something here in the middle and see how that goes. I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to go ahead and work on this guy. Okay, he's in there crawling around. You see him? Right there. Trying to make a home. If you know about this kind of bee, let me know. Okay, so my new bee friend is very angry with me. I'm going to stand back here at a safe distance. I've got this all done. This is one tomato plant that typically, if this was full of cherry tomatoes, then I would just single stem it up like I did my tomato trees in the back. Because I had such a problem with cherry tomatoes this year and I'm only going to have this one and this one in this bed, I did leave a couple more leaders. So you can see it kind of splits in two at the base, and then each one kind of splits in two. And I'm just going to kind of fan them out up this way and see how it does. I'm still going to keep trimming a lot of the branches. Anything that looked dead, I took off. And then I'll come along and take off anything under the flowers in the next couple days too, just to try and keep airflow really good. I do have tomatoes on there. They're over back here in this corner behind the bird. Yay! So it's a nice healthy plant. I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. I'm going to take all this back to the compost pile, and then we're going to deal with this. So this is the bed that had the spinach and the radishes in it. And spinach worked lovely here. I don't know about the radishes so much, but I think next year I'll definitely do spinach here again. But right now it's just dead desert, barren wasteland, and I need to put something in it. So I am going to try bush beans. I didn't have a lot of luck with these last year, but I'm going to try it again this year. I'm going to try and keep them more watered, but in the beginning I'm going to let them dry out because I did some research on my roly-poly issue, and one of the things that was suggested is not to water them too much until they're bigger. You have to give them enough water so they germinate, but then back off a little bit until they come out of the ground and get a little bit bigger, and then start watering them because that moisture pulls all those pill bug type creatures to that area. So with that in mind, I'm gonna water this good once I put them in here. And then I'm gonna try and let them dry out a little bit more than I normally would until they come up, if they come up. And we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, this fails. And I put my fall spinach here in another month. What do I got to lose? 1 pack of seeds? All right, I'll take it. These are Tanya's pink potted beans. I didn't do them last year, I think, but I did them the year before. They're I got them for Ava because they're actually pink flowers and pink bean pods. They're really cute. Ava thinks those are very interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those again right here and we'll see how it goes. So this is a problem that I deal with in small space gardening. And if you are trying to grow something in small spaces, this is probably something that's going to be a hard thing for you as well. When you deal with raised beds or pots or things that are not traditional in the ground gardening, a lot of times you have to really take some time to get to know how the soil works in your beds. So things like the one back there that I just put those beans in, that is a funny mixture of soil. I did put compost in there, but I think I put some compost in there that didn't break down enough. So I think what's happening for me right now is that I've got little pieces of wood in there that are sucking up moisture, making my soil itself dry. It probably needed another year to break down. So this bed is not performing great this year, but maybe next year it will be. And I have that for every bed. Every bed I have to stop, evaluate, look at how the moisture is being held, look at what's going on underneath the surface. A lot of times this bed right here, the surface is wet and underneath is very dry. And it's just kind of a thing when you're small space gardening, you have to really pay attention to the soil in each individual kind of container that you are using to grow. So if it's not in the ground, it's going to have different needs than the things that you have in the ground. So I did the same thing on this side, came through and took all those pea vines out. I did cut them off at ground level to keep all that nitrogen inside of the ground. And when I did, I found I have one more tomato plant than I thought I did. So I've got this bigger one right next to it and a small one. This one's doing pretty good. This guy right here and right back here. So I have 5 tomato plants in here. 1, 2, 3, the little one 4, and the bigger one is 5. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna go ahead and tie those up. They're small still, they're okay. I'm gonna let them get a little bit bigger and try and make sure I've got enough room for everybody up there. And then I'll come in and prune and tie them up then. But right now, those are gonna take off because now they have direct access to the sunlight. They're not being blocked by those those pea vines. They're gonna do really, really well there. Same thing with these kohlrabi in the front. They're not looking great, but I'll just cut off bottom leaves and feed them to the chickens and leave them there for sacrificial plants for anything like those crazy pill bugs that want them. Let's go ahead and peek at a couple more things in the garden before the rain drives me back inside the house. Here's that bed where the roly-polies took over, and you're gonna see these beans that stayed are taking off like crazy. I am gonna go ahead and put more of those beans in the ground and try and keep it a little bit less moist and see if now they make it. So beans part 3 going there, and I'll put some in over here too. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of the roly-polies and the damage they did, this is how that tray is going that I started. I've got the basil and the Armenians, the silver slicers, and some other kind that I forget already. But the point is, I have got cucumbers coming up and basil. So I will get these cucumbers in the ground. I'm gonna let them get a little bit bigger. I'm gonna give them at least another week, maybe 2 in here. And then I'm gonna plant them out. Ooh, check out this nasturtium. It's a variegated nasturtium. I think it's called Alaska variegated. Aren't those leaves pretty? They're supposed to do that. That's on purpose. That's gonna be really pretty spilling out of there. Also, we have the daisies in bloom. The other year, my daisies all got some kind of blight and they were all dirty. I'm hoping it doesn't happen again this year. They look beautiful. The roses are dying. That's okay. They were beautiful while they were here, right? One thing goes, one thing comes. Look what else opened up. The little sunspot sunflower. Aren't you cute? This one's going to open pretty soon. We are getting just an enormous amount of rain here right now, which after all this dryness is fantastic. But again, the extreme dryness to the extreme wetness, extreme heat to the cool is really making my plants a little crazy. This is the first Tithonia flower. Look at it. Oh, it's already got an ant on it. Look at that. See how it opens up like that? Those are, hey, darlings, stop. The way this is formed is good for butterflies that can land on it. When they open up like that. This is going to be hundreds of them all over here. You wait and see. I had to short up the other day about all my beautiful snapdragons. Ugh, just the colors. They're just so pretty right now. And the thing about snapdragons is once you plant them, you're going to have them forever. I didn't plant a single one of any of these. They all just came back from a couple I had in a pot a year ago. And now they're my friends for life. I love it. Also, can I just show you this? There's a volunteer sunflower growing right here next to my gate. In the crack of the sidewalk. It's amazing. Okay, this is hilarious and possibly very, very, very cool. Last year, I planted a little ground cherry plant right here. It barely got any ground cherries on it. This year, I didn't get any out in the garden. I thought, whatever, I'm not going to have any. I'm sitting here looking at this echinacea, looking for a bloom. And what do I see in here? But these little flowers. Do you see them? They're ground cherry flowers. This is a ground cherry plant coming up out of the echinacea. It's this high. It's got a big guy right here. This is a big stem of it. And look at all the flowers on it. Big city trash truck. Look at them all the little buds coming. So I'm going to have just snacking ground cherries growing up, volunteering here in the echinacea. I love that. Like, this is a tiny little piece of soil. Look, it's literally maybe 6 inches wide. And it has this giant, huge thing of echinacea, a Brussels sprout, and now this ground cherry plant growing here. So if you don't think you have enough space to grow a garden, you need to think again. Go look in your yard. There is possibility there, I'm telling you. This is what I was looking for. The first echinaceas. The dogs are defending me from the neighborhood. The sunflower walkway. These are going to get taller and it's going to be gorgeous. Sunflowers over here. Sunflowers over here. Well, hello there. Pretty little purple broccoli / cauliflower. I don't know what you are. You look delicious though. I'll have to keep this in mind for dinner, maybe tomorrow. And look at this genuine cabbage head I have. That is awesome. I am pretty encouraged by that. I've got a couple others starting. You look good. This one's kind of trying over here. Well, how exciting is that? I need to take a picture of that. There's some fun stuff right there. I'm excited about that cabbage. Super excited about that volunteer ground cherry plant. Mother Nature's awesome. All right, guys, I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.